Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Today we're joined by Ali from KC Lights. So what's up, Ali? How are you?
How's it going, man?
Great. Today you brought us here a huge Jeep. What's going on here? What are we looking at?
So this is Kate the Jeep. She is an official show rig for KC Lights. This is what you would call an overland rig, which is really just a really fancy word for saying camping. So vehicle-based camping. But what we do with these is we go out, we do trails, we do some pretty gnarly rock crawling, and then we camp wherever we want.
Get pretty nasty in the process as well, right?
Yeah.
Get muddy and all that stuff. So you can definitely tell that, you know, it's not super muddy, which I'm kind of happy about, but at the same time, there are some things that we can definitely clean up, which I think we can definitely transform the look of this Jeep and get it looking amazing.
No, I mean, that's why we came here. We just got back from Moab, actually.
Oh, awesome.
So there was an event called Easter Jeep Safari, and you know, we did some of the most iconic trails out in Moab, Utah.
Sounds great.
And yeah, you get a lot of that red dirt on here. There was some mud. I actually did you guys a solid halfway through my trip. I did power wash it, but
and that's a very important thing to do, you know, especially when you're leaving. You want to make sure you get all that salt off, you know, before it ruins anything, or your undercarriage and stuff like that. So we'll definitely pay some attention to the undercarriage, to the wheels. I do see that you do have a matte wrap on this.
I do, yeah. And one thing that's really touchy with me about the wrap is I don't want it to fade.
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth a good amount.
I think you guys do some stuff around that too.
Yeah, no, we definitely have some stuff for matte wrap vehicles, which we are definitely going to go into. So we are going to be hooking you up, making sure that we wash it the proper way with the proper chemicals, and make sure it has the proper care in order to thrive and look good for as long as possible.
Oh yeah, man. No, I am so stoked to have KC and Chemical Guys kind of come together and do some fun things.
We're excited too, man. I can't wait.
Many more to come, dude.
I can't wait to detail this thing, man. This thing's a monster.
Right on, brother.
All right, Ali. So with the monster as big as this, I gotta know, man. What are the specs on this? What am I, you know, what's under the hood?
All right, the list is like long, but really, I think the key highlights are we've got a RIP supercharger in here, so it's taking that V6, which with all this steel Evo like armor.
It's just definitely use that power to haul all this stuff around.
So the supercharger kind of brings us back to stock.
No, I heard it. It sounds amazing.
Super mild tune, but it's good. We got Milestar tires. Of course, we've got all the KC lights all over the vehicle. It's taken this vehicle to like a whole nother level.
You can definitely tell, man. I mean, I'm not a huge off-road guy, but I can definitely tell that this is some serious business.
This is as serious as it's ever. I mean, and literally, this came together like I've had this thing for 3 years. 3 weeks ago, we put all this together. Took off to EJS as a shakedown run. Luckily, she did pretty good.
The great thing is that you only not just brought us one amazing rig, you also brought us this one over here as well.
So the full disclosure, my boss Alan over at KC, he's the owner, one of the partners there. He bought himself a turtleback trailer, and then I made a call over to my buddy over at Multicam. I said, hey, you want to wrap a 4Runner and a trailer? And he goes, yeah, sure. So now I get to steal his trailer because it matches my Jeep.
No, I mean, definitely they go well together. I saw them when they first came in. You brought them all both together. We did have to separate them just a little bit just because they weren't going to fit necessarily, but we got two amazing things to work on today. All right, well, let's get washing.
Let's get washing.
All right, guys, so the KC Lights guys are gone. Now let's get into some detailing. So first things first, we're going to start off with the wheels. All right, guys, so first things first, we're going to address the wheels and the undercarriage. Now, the undercarriage isn't too bad. The wheels, on the other hand, they are a little bit dirty, so we definitely do want to give it that deep clean, but we do have a lot of exposed undercarriage as well, so we want to make sure that we clean that as well. So we're going to rinse it off right now, and we're going to knock off as much of that loose debris as we can to make our job a lot easier. All right, guys, so now that we have rinsed down the wheels and the undercarriage, now we can proceed with the cleaning process. So what I have right here is our All Clean Plus. Now, All Clean is great because it is a citrus-based cleaner, which is going to work out extraordinarily well to break down all the dirt, grime, and grease that's built up on there. Now, luckily, they just installed a brand new suspension system on this, so it's not too bad, but it still does need a cleaning. So we're going to be using some of this. Now, I'm using it as is. You can dilute it if you wish, but I like using it as is for undercarriage because you want that full strength to break down all that dirt and grime. And all you have to do is spray a nice little coat, and you can spray it on virtually all of these wheel wells, all these suspension components as well. I am just kind of covering this small little area right now. I'm not going to expand too much, but I am spraying it on the wheel wells, the suspension components, the springs, and all these other metal stuff that's in here. Now, once you have everything sprayed down, you may need a mixture of brushes in order to deep clean your undercarriage. Now, depending on, how your undercarriage is exposed, you'll find that different brushes have their uses. So the first one I'm going to be using today is going to be our long handle flag tip brush. Now, this thing's great because obviously you see the long handle, which means that I can go ahead and scrub all these surfaces right here without having to get my hand deep in there with the smaller brush and, jacking up my fingers, my knuckles and stuff like that. So making sure that you get a nice deep clean, and you can scrub down the frame as well and make sure you get that nice all around clean. Get all these little components as well, and pretty much making sure that we clean all these areas, because once we're done cleaning, we are going to be applying a protectant on these. So we're going to be applying some bare bones, and if you guys don't know what bare bones is an undercarriage protectant. Now, whenever you have an undercarriage like this that's exposed, you want to make sure that it's protected, because it's going to help you maintain the overall look, and it's going to keep it cleaner for longer. Now, for you guys out there that you guys may be watching right now and saying, hey Joey, like, why are you doing all that cleaning? It's just going to go next week, go off-roading and get dirty all over again. Well, the simple reason is protection. Now, for the simple reason of protection, whenever you protect your undercarriage, your tires, your wheels, it makes it much more easier to maintain. So whenever you go on those long off-roading, super muddy trips and you get mud all over your undercarriage, whenever you have protection on there, it's gonna make it much easier to clean it up and maintain and keep it looking great. So we may not be worried about giving it a super deep shine or making it have a super wet look or anything like that, but we do wanna make sure that all the aspects of this vehicle are protected, and it's for that simple reason, which is going to pretty much prevent a lot of things such as like rust, salt from penetrating your undercarriage, all your metals. Now, one great way to prevent that is by applying bare bones to your undercarriage, and I'll explain a little bit more about it as we get to that part. But for now, I'm going to continue with this cleaning process, and we'll pretty much wrap it up, and I'll be back with you guys later in the video to show you guys how to apply bare bones and what it does for your undercarriage. Alright guys, so now that we have rinsed off the undercarriage, now we can proceed with cleaning these tires. Now you guys saw the tires, how they looked before I rinsed them off. They were extremely brown. They have a ton of dirt, grime, brake dust embedded on the finish of the tire. So you want to make sure that you give it a deep clean. So not only worrying about your wheels themselves, but the tires themselves as well. And one great way to do that is, well, you can actually use the same cleaner, All Clean, which works on a variety of surfaces to clean your tires. Now you can use a product like All Clean to deep clean your tires as opposed to like a traditional wheel cleaner, because All Clean is citrus based and it's much stronger for these more dirtier surfaces. Now I am going to be using it in combination with one of our stiff bristle brushes. Now these brushes work out great because they're tough, which means that it's going to do an amazing job at scrubbing off all the grime, even within the texture of the tire itself. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and scrub it down and get all this grime off. Now, one thing you guys may be seeing right now is all the brown foam. Now, foam is not brown. The foam is actually white, but since it's mixing with all the dirt and grime that's on the tires, it's pretty much causing this brown foamy look, which you definitely can tell that it's giving it that nice deep clean. Now, once you're done scrubbing your tire, now you can proceed with cleaning the wheel. Now, for the wheel, I'm going to be using our Sticky Citrus Wheel Gel. Now, two reasons why I'm using this product. First reason is because it's a citrus-based gel, which means that it's going to foam up great, and it's going to emulsify all the dirt and grime on the surface of the wheel, and it's safe for all wheel types. So as you guys can see, these are a matte finish wheel. So we definitely don't want to use anything super aggressive like a super degreaser or anything like that to clean these wheels, because they're a sensitive finish. So using the proper product to clean the sensitive finish wheels works out great. So all I'm going to do is spray a nice little coat onto the surface of the wheel. And the great thing about Sticky Citrus is that it's designed to stick to the surface and stay there for maximum cleaning power. So I'm going to spray some Sticky Citrus Wheel Gel on my Red Rocket and make sure I get some nice suds from my bucket and continue with this wheel cleaning process. The next product I'm going to be using is my flag tip brush here, which as you guys can see, it's pretty much just a smaller version of the long handle brush that I had before. and I'm just gonna scrub the surface of the wheel. Now, one of the things about this wheel is that it has a lot of little rivets, a lot of tight areas that we want to make sure that we take our time and deep clean, because that's ultimately what's going to set our wheel detailing game apart. You know, taking the time to deep clean all these little intricate areas makes a huge difference in terms of the overall look of the wheel once it's finally clean. Now with the flag tip brush, I'm able to tackle pretty much the broad surfaces. Now for the tighter surfaces, I'm going to be going back to my Boar's hair bristle brush, and I'm going to be spraying directly into my brush as well, just to get some more added cleaning power and some foaming action. And as you guys can see, this wheel has a lot of little rivets as well, so you want to make sure that you take your time cleaning all these little areas individually to get the best all-around clean. And for you guys over there freaking out saying that these wheels have curb rash, yes they do, but that's to be expected because this car does go rock crawling. So, you know, unlike most city cars, whenever we see curb rash, we start freaking out. In this case, perfectly acceptable just because this car is an off-road car and it's bound to get dirty and, you know, jacked up like this. All right guys, so we just finished rinsing off the wheel and the undercarriage, and check it out, it looks amazing. It's now clean, and all we really have to do now is clean up the rest of the car. So we have a ton more to cover as far as the other three wheels, the rest of the undercarriage. You guys saw I did clean a little bit of the back over here. However, I still need to clean the front and under the car as well. So I gotta move on to cleaning that, but definitely can tell a huge difference before and after of how it looks. You know, these wheels were matte, so they're not necessarily shining bright, like, you know, super glossy or anything like that, but you can definitely tell that they are clean compared to like the driver's side wheel over there, which is very brown. It honestly looks a different color than this one. This has like more of a bright gold, whereas that has more of a, I don't even know what color you would call that. So we're gonna finish with the wheel cleaning process. All right guys, and that pretty much wraps it up. We finished the wheels on undercarriage, and as you guys can see, a huge transformation. It looks amazing. However, we still have to wash this beast. So if you guys want to make sure to see that, make sure to tune into our next video where we show you guys how to wash this beast and the trailer as well.